Hello, you there, and welcome back to another episode of Inside of Tizi's Mind. Today's topic is also one of my favorites. We're going to talk about boundaries, as you can see, and the reason why boundaries are so important, and how this is all related to self-worth, self-awareness, and feeling confident in your own skin. Let's dive right into it, okay? First up, what are boundaries? Boundaries are limitations. They are like these they are like these invisible lines that you put between yourself and the rest of the world, or between yourself and anything else. And it's a way of saying, this is my limit. This is the maximum or the minimum that I allowed or that I accept for this or for that. Okay? Now, I have a couple, not bullet points, but I have a guide in here. So I don't go all around, but you know what's going to happen either ways, you know. You and me, we're going to start rumbling. Well, I'm going to start rumbling, and we're going to have a nice, interesting conversation inside of my mind. Here's the thing. Why are boundaries important? They define, like I said before, your limitations. They are important because they help you establish healthy relationships with your friends, with your partner, with yourself. They help you not waste your time, waste your energy, waste your emotions. And they also help you define what you're comfortable with and what you're willing to accept or not accept. Actually, look, I'm not even going to follow my own bullet points. Screw them. There's no guides to where to explore my mind or where to go. So we're just going to do it my way, okay? Why do I want to talk about boundaries today? Because, again, like I said before, it's all connected. Once you have started your self-discovery journey, okay, and you start establishing these things that you like and that you don't like, well, you start establishing these ideas, and you start discovering what you like, what you don't like, what you think you deserve, what you don't deserve. That's when boundaries come in play, okay? Because I'll give you an example. If you know, I'm gonna give you a good example. In my case, I didn't grow up in a house where physical abuse was accepted, so I do not accept that in my life. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Doesn't matter where it comes from. I do not accept physical abuse, or verbally, or mentally, or any kind of abuse. That's not acceptable. That's my boundary. The moment you stepped over that line, the moment you crossed that line, the moment I will execute you out of my life. Okay? So, and you only get to this point where you can say, right, this is my limit. This is how much I'm willing to accept, when you know what you want and you know what you deserve. But also when you know your self-worth, like I said previously, when you know, when you just realize that you're this person that deserves everything that you want, and then you can have anything that you want. That's when you can say no, till here, and nothing else. Because when you don't have boundaries, whether they are with yourself or whether they are with your friends, with your partner, with your family, with anyone, with anything, even with your own thoughts, because there's also like emotional and mental boundaries. But we'll get into that a little bit later. What was I saying? Oh, here we go again. What was I saying? Oh, when you don't have boundaries, that's when you start, when you enter toxic relationships, when you let people disrespect you, when you let people treat you like however they want, when you let others manipulate you, when you accept the bare minimum with absolutely anything, whether that is a job, whether that is a relationship, whether that is a friendship, whatever it is, you're like, you have this mindset that, oh, okay, you know what, this is, I just accept this. It's okay, you know. It's okay. No, like I said previously in previous podcasts, this is your life, okay? Your life, your rules. You rule your life. You don't let life rule you and run over you. You decide how you want your life to be, because it's on you, okay? And when you notice, and when you realize that you're this magnificent human being, and that you are worthy and you deserve absolutely everything that you want, whatever you can put your mind into, whatever you can think of. When you realize that you can get anything that you want, okay, that's when you will say, why do I have to accept the bare minimum? Like, excuse me? Excuse me? In my case, I do have to admit that I grew up being the quiet one, okay? I grew up having to, let's say, suffer in silence. I would see things in my house, and then I couldn't speak up. I would have to be silent. But then I think being silent and growing up in silence, what created it within myself was this feeling of, what's the right word? Resentment? I don't know. Anger. I think it was anger. But in a way that nowadays it makes me angry, right? It makes me furious to think that someone is crossing my boundaries. And it's hard for me nowadays to think, to allow anybody to cross those boundaries, to say, like, let's say someone disrespects me, so I feel like someone has done something that it was not right. My first reaction is like, excuse me? Who do you think you are to treat me that way? Or to say that about me? Or to talk to me that way? I used to be also that girl that she would let anybody run over her. And again, like I said before, I was a shapeshifter. I wanted people to like me, so I would do whatever I could do for them to like me. And then that would lead to me not feeling fulfilled, not feeling satisfied, because it was never enough. It was always like, I will never be liked by everybody, because there's always something I can fix, or there's something I can do, or like, oh, look, that person's right, I deserve this because I didn't do what he wanted me to do, because I was trying so hard to please people that I would accept whatever they had, whatever it was, whatever the behavior it was towards me, or anything, because I had no boundaries. And then it makes it, when you start, again, like I said previously, when you start thinking and realizing, wait, and questioning yourself and thinking, wait a second, I don't like this. Look, I also believe that we all have this like voice in the back of in the back of our heads that tells us, this just doesn't feel right. I understand there's other people that might not have that kind of like click, but I do think we all have that internal voice that it might not be like a shout, it might not be like a scream, but it's like a little, hey, like a little whisper that can tell you, this just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is, but something doesn't feel right. And to me, the moment you hear that little whisper, you need to pay attention to it and hear it and make it a bit louder, because that's a sign. That's your internal voice in your mind telling you, this is like a warning, like, hey, we think this is not right. We think this is not the right path. Something's off. I'm sure we all been in a toxic relationship, and if you haven't, I'm so proud of you that you haven't been there. But in my case, I have, and I also grew up in a toxic household, and I have a toxic family, and I think thanks to that, it made me question a lot of things growing up. And like I said, in a way, I'm grateful that all the things happened, because I think I wouldn't have the mentality that I have if I would have grown up in a different household. But thanks to that, I think I have the mentality that I have. And because I didn't have boundaries, I would let even my family treat me the way they wanted, until one day I said, no more. Like, why do I have to take this in? Like, think about it for a second. Think about it with me for a second. Why do you have to accept this. If someone disrespects you, let's say someone calls you names or someone tells you very nasty things, why do you have to take it? Oh, because he's right. I do deserve to be called this way. Why? We all make mistakes, but we don't have to be punished for those mistakes. Actually, that's a very bad thing. Punishing yourself for what you've done wrong or whatever it is, it won't help you do it better next time. If anything, what it's going to do is have this constant pressure and this feeling of guilt, because you're scared of that you can do things wrong all the time. And that's not what we want. You have that voice that tells you, this is not right. In this situation, let's say you have a toxic relationship and your boyfriend gets very angry, and then he says, well, you're this and you're that. And if you do this, I'm going to do this to you. First of all, that's manipulation. Not a good thing. And gaslighting. Not a good thing. And you think, I know, I understand that your first reaction could be, I should take it in. But why would you want to have someone that puts this much stress on you? That you're constantly on edge because, well, if I do this, or if I do that, he's going to leave me, or he's going to break up with me, or he's going to do this, or he's going to lay a hand on me. If someone ever, because this is a very touchy topic to me, but if someone ever thinks that they can put a hand on you, okay? Excuse me, but they're completely out of your life right away. Right away. Right in that moment. Okay, let's calm down because I'm going to get to one point and it's hard. Just think about it for a second. Why would you want to live a life where you feel miserable? You know what? The more you say one word, the weird it sounds in your mouth. Miserable. Well, you get my point. The more miserable you feel, why would you take that? What makes you think you're destined to live a life constantly sad and constantly depressed and constantly just feeling like nothing is enough? What makes you think that life is about that? I understand. Look, I do know that when you get comfortable and you get used to certain things, it's very easy to think that's it. That's all. That's life. But no, there's more. Okay, there's more out there. I want you to understand that the more you start questioning things in life, the more you start thinking, what if there's something better? What if? In a good way, sparks a little something in your mouth, and that's a good thing. That's you're going in the right path. You start having that kind of mindset. Life is like I said previously, life is actually very easy. We tend to complicate ourselves. Letting go is easy. Letting go of that toxic relationship is actually easier than you think. Who cares if that boy breaks up with you and then you think, oh, nobody else is going to love me? No. You know how many people are there out there? How the amount of humans are there, and you're telling me nobody else for the rest of your life is gonna love you? No. Flip it over, change the perspective. I let go of this, something else will come into my life. It's as easy as that. It's letting go of all that and being open to letting the good things come to our life. But I'm getting sidetracked. Again, boundaries. Boundaries. I think I like that word. Boundaries. Yeah, I do like that word, to be honest, because it took me a while to learn that word and what it meant and how, and the impact that it would make in my life. But now that I know, it's like, I'm standing on this, I'm standing on business, okay? Then you respect. People respect you when you know where you stand. People will respect you when you also respect yourself. And again, this comes from self-awareness, self-confidence, sorry. Because if respect starts within ourselves. If you don't respect yourself, no one is going to respect you. In order for people to start respecting you, you have to start respecting yourself first. And by that is by you. How do you respect yourself? It's actually, from my point of view, it's actually very easy. It starts with sticking to your word. You said you didn't want to go to this concert. You didn't want to go to this event because you didn't feel like it. Okay. Then if you initially said that you didn't want to go, why are you going? That's disrespecting yourself. That's going against your own word. And people are going to start treating you like a toy because you never stick to what you say you were going to do. If you say, I'm going to start waking up early and I'm going to start doing more things, I'm going to try to be more productive, and then you don't do it, you're going to end up feeling like a bag of, I don't want to swear in my podcast, at least not in this one. You're going to feel like a bag of trash, okay? Because you know internally that you didn't do what you said you were going to do, and it makes you feel bad. So sticking to your word is the first thing to start respecting yourself, at least from my point of view. The more you stick to your word, and again, it's as easy as sticking to it. No if, no buts, no nothing. You said you were going to do this, you do it. You said you were not going to do this, you don't do it. Doesn't matter if other people, doesn't matter what, let's say you're going, I don't know, your friends are going to this event and you think, I'm going to miss out. You don't want to go. Doesn't matter. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to question yourself. You don't need to start second guessing yourself. You said you don't want to go. And it's all about you. Okay? Now, another situation. Let's say someone tells you, wait, let me think about it. Like I'm comfortable in here. This floor is not comfortable. I need the bean bag from upstairs. Anyways, I need to find a different spot here in my room to film, because even though I really like the background and I really like filming here, I just don't know. I don't feel comfortable when I'm filming like against the window. But this is not about that. The thing is, let's get comfortable. I'm not comfortable. If I'm not comfortable, you're not comfortable. And we all should be comfortable, okay? We're having a conversation. I shouldn't touch my ear. Anyways, out of the point. Let me give you a different scenario. You're at a party and everyone wants to drink, but you're not the one that drinks. You're not someone that likes to drink. You just don't like drinking. But your friends keep telling you, come on, try this, try that. It's a good thing. Or it's fun. You will have fun and this and that. The moment you fold, the moment you give in to what you said you were not going to do, it's you disrespecting yourself. And by doing that, you're teaching people also how they can treat you. Because if you're that easy to fold, if you're that easy to convince and influence, then they're going to do whatever they want with you, okay? And that's not self-love. There's no respect in there. So we're going to start with sticking to a word, whatever it is, big or small. If you said you were going to wake up at this time and do this thing and do that thing, you do it. Or if you say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, you do it. It's as simple as that. There's like I said before, there's no buts, there's no if, nothing. Just stick to your word. And people will learn how to respect you, because when you start sticking to your word, they will realize, damn, she really does what she says she's going to do. Wow. She really doesn't fall for anybody. Whoa. She said she was not going to come and she didn't come. Whoa. She said she was going to book that trip and she booked the trip on her own. Whoa. She said that she was going to get the degree and she did it. Whatever the situation is. When people see that you're sticking to your word and that you're doing those things that you said you were going to do, they're going to start noticing and be like, whoa, she is a woman or a man of their word. And there's nothing... There's nothing more disgusting than someone that doesn't stick to the word. And I'm guilty of that, let me tell you. In the past, I used to be the one that I would say, I'm going to do all these things, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I remember not the first time, but I have a friend that would always, catch my ass right in my face. But I needed that. I needed him to put me in the spotlight and say, did you do what you said you were going to do? And me realizing that I didn't stick to my word and I didn't do it, and then I would feel ashamed. I would feel ashamed not only for not doing what I said I was going to do, but also for the fact that he noticed. So people do notice all these little things, believe it or not, especially the close ones, So that created it within, that created inside of me this feeling of, I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be this person that says she's going to do this and she doesn't do it. I think last year, I had this goal, I want to move out and I wanted to have my own apartment. Did I do it? No, because I had no plan and I had my mind all over the place. Is that the plan for this year? No, but it's okay. We have other goals and we're sticking to those other goals, okay? That's what matters. So stick to your word and you will teach people how to respect you. That boundaries, creating that boundary of this is what I said and this is what I said, and there's no discussion, period, full stop. This is what I said. Why are people arguing with you? This is what you said. No one has to argue with you. I don't want to go to this place. I don't want to drink. I don't do it. Why are you arguing back with me? It's my word. It's my word. It's my life. It's my decision. Does it affect you in any way? No. So don't argue with me. It's as simple as that. That on one side. Then it also protects yourself, like I said before. When you set boundaries, you attract those things that you put the boundaries for. And you also reject all those things that just don't align with your boundaries. So for example, you not accepting toxic people in your life, setting that boundary and saying, I don't want people to disrespect me. I don't want people to treat me badly. I don't want people to gaslight me. I don't want people to make me feel like I'm not worthy of this or I'm not worthy of that. It will protect your time and it will protect your energy. It will protect your emotions. It will protect yourself. Because all those people that are out there that could potentially do all those things to you, they will be rejected because they will see that, wow, we definitely cannot mess with her. I can try, I can try to manipulate her and do these things, but it just doesn't work because she's really standing on her word and on her ground and sticking to what she says she was going to do and sticking to her word. And protecting yourself is also a way of saying, I love myself. I love myself enough. I love myself this much that I do not allow this in my life. Because let me remind you again, this is your life. This is your reality. And whatever you don't want, whatever you don't like, you shouldn't accept it. You shouldn't allow it in. Okay? So I do not accept this behavior. I do not accept these words. I do not accept this treatment. Because this is my life. And I don't want to live a life where I'm upset, where I'm stressed, where I'm constantly chasing and begging people. Again, what a miserable life is that? No, that's not love. And you only have one life. One life. Why do you have to let people steal it from you? Why do you have to let people run over you? It's your damn fucking life. And I know I said I was not going to swear, but it just really bothers me, to be honest. I think in my case, I'm aware that it comes from growing up, having to see my mom letting my dad run over her, let's say that way, and disrespect her in different ways, that it would annoy me, but I couldn't say anything when I was a child. I would have to be silent, because I was 4 or 5 years old and you can't step in the situation. You have to be there and good girl. But nowadays it's excuse me, no. It creates so much anger in me thinking of this kind of situation, but people disrespect you. What makes you think? What really makes you think that's right? And also, what makes you think I'm going to take it? No. My point is, setting boundaries will help you be comfortable with what you do. And also saying, this is my limit. That's it. This is what I'm comfortable with. Me passing that limit is going to make me feel uncomfortable. And feeling uncomfortable equals to a not happy life. Going around in circles, going around life, just feeling like garbage. And like I was saying before, there's different types of boundaries. You have physical boundaries, like I said before, the limitation between people, for example, putting a hand on you and not putting a hand on you. Okay? People abusing you physically. Then you have the emotional ones, which it's how much you allow yourself to have this emotional intimacy with other people. And emotional intimacy means sharing your deepest thoughts, sharing things that are here inside that you wouldn't share with everybody. But having that boundary in saying, right, how much am I willing to share with this person? How much do I want this person to know? Because, like I said previously, and like I always say, knowledge is power. The more information you give to other people, the more power you're giving them to have over you. It's also important for you to know how to manage that. But that's why it's important to know who are you giving this power to, and why you're giving it to them. Maybe not why, but mainly who. Because giving too much power to someone that's going to just manipulate you and treat you like shit, it's going to reflect back to you. It's going to backfire on you. You have to give it to the right person. Knowing, okay, who am I sharing my thoughts with, and how much am I comfortable sharing my thoughts with this person? Then you have the mental ones, these are more of our own self. Which means this goes back to, like I said previously, it all starts within ourselves. It all starts with us. So the mental ones, these are a bit tricky. These are also a bit tricky for me to understand, but there are like, let's say, how much you allow yourself to also believe and think, or the thoughts that you allow yourself to have, to take in. For example, if I start going around and thinking, I am a very useless person, that kind of self-talk, right? That you allowing yourself to talk that way to yourself, it's you disrespecting yourself, like I said previously, but also it's not going to bring you anything positive, right? You're not going to have a better life and a happier life, but talking to yourself that way. So setting a boundary, a mental boundary, and saying, I will not let this thought take over me or control me. I will not let this thought define who I am. I will not let this thought. I will just not listen to the thought. As easy as that. This is my boundary. I do not accept negative self-talk. I accept positive self-talk. For example, no, I am. I know how to do things. I am useful. I'm a good friend. I am kind. I help people when I see in the street. I am very humble. Boundary. That's a mental boundary within yourself. And the most important thing, boundaries are important because they just help you have a better life, a happier life. And I think that should be the end goal. Like I said, like before, we only have one life. You only have one life, and it's your life. Why do you have to live a life where you're not happy with what you have, with who are you surrounded by? Like, it's hard for me to think of a life that way, to be honest. It just doesn't process in my mind. I think the end goal should be to have a happier life. We all should be happy. And I know the word happy is a big word, and sometimes it's a bit tricky, but it all comes down to putting like the right pieces of the puzzle together, okay? A happier life means kind of fulfilling the puzzle with the right pieces, like I said initially. If you want a better life and you want a happier life, why wouldn't you set boundaries? I know, they can be hard. It took me a long time. It took me like 25 years to understand what a freaking boundary was. But once you do, when you start working on this, okay, like I said before, questioning, making questions and thinking, just doesn't feel right. Let me work on this. Let me just work on this. Let me listen to this thought, this voice, and work on it. And then you will understand what boundaries are and how they will. And I don't know. I think I'm feeling overwhelmed with my hair in my face. I don't know why. Okay, I feel more comfortable now. I just put my hair up in a pony bun. In a pony bun? In a messy bum. Oh, Jesus. You see, this is also, you need to learn how to like laugh about yourself in a good way, you know. I make mistakes. Sometimes when I'm talking, I don't realize how I'm talking and the things that I'm saying. And then I'm like, oops, I just made a mistake over there. And that's okay. As in, like, laugh it out and move on. That's self-love too. It's a little simple, but I want you to understand that it's the little things at the end of the day, the little things that you do, everything that's little, that's up to a big thing. And that's why we have to take care of the little things. And the little things such as setting up boundaries and saying, this is not what I allowed. I do not allow you to treat me this way. I do not accept you to talk to me that way. Okay? And look, we all make mistakes. Okay? I have this friend that a couple months ago, we took some time apart because the friendship just wasn't, the dynamic wasn't good anymore. Okay? And we were constantly like, not fighting, but like arguing. And it just wasn't the same anymore. Okay, but I still appreciated this person. So it's not like I cut him off my life completely, but I said, we need some time. Okay? And that is a boundary. That's me saying, I had enough. This is my limit. Okay? This is my limit. From now on, we need to take a couple steps back, or we need to make decisions. We need to take, what's the word? What's the word? Oh, after this limit, there's going to be consequences, okay? So we took some time apart, and he texted me the other day, and he said, look, I'm sorry for the way I admit that I wasn't treating you fairly. I wasn't treating you right. And I apologize and this and that. And I was very fulfilled. Not because he texted me back, but because I thanked myself that I set those boundaries for myself, and I said I do not allow. It doesn't matter how much I love this person, how much I appreciate this friendship, but I do not allow you to treat me this way. Okay, I'm not your second thought. I don't want to be in the background. I don't want to be. I could look. There's so many people out there that could give you more. I'm gonna bring this to what I was saying in the previous podcast, but when you know that you're abundance, okay, there's abundance in your life. There was a little spider walking next to me, but it was very little. I just didn't know what it was. When you understand that life is abundance and that you can have abundance in your life, you will start to not allow people to mistreat you. I was happy because thanks that I set those boundaries, I now have my friend back. But we talked about it, and now we have a better dynamic. We have a better friendship because we said, this is enough. This is what I accept. And like, if you set those boundaries and you lose somebody and you let them go, don't see it as a loss. The other way around. Again, flip it over, perspective. It's not a loss. It's you making space, making room for better things. I like to see it that way. There's people come and go. Okay, people will always come and go in your life. Make room for the ones that are worth having in your life. Make room for the ones that actually make your life feel like it's worth living. You know, again, when you start experiencing a good life, when you start experiencing the good things in life, you will say, wow, I'm glad I wasn't I didn't allow myself to be stuck in that previous version of myself or that previous past life. I'm glad that I made room and I allowed myself to experience all these things, because life is beautiful, okay? Life is beautiful. There's so many things out there, so many pretty things, beautiful things that you can experience out there, like a healthy relationship, be loved by your loved ones, being surrounded by your loved ones too, achieving things, chasing your dreams, chasing your goals. There's so many beautiful things in life. And it's only when you set those boundaries and you allow yourself to experience these things, but also not experiencing the negative ones, is when you start having a happier life. And like I said before, isn't that like the end goal? To have a happy life? That we don't even know what we're here for, what we got brought in this life for. But we do know one thing, and that is that we get to leave it. And choose how you live your life, but the right way, okay? Like I said before, you rule your life. Live your life under your own terms, because at the end of the day, it's yours, and you only have one. Set the boundaries, okay? Like I said, it's all related. It all has to do with how much you love yourself and your self-worth. But you will have to start that journey first before you can get here. That's why this is the third episode. Because the journey is like step by step. But when you realize that you are a magnificent. This is one of those words again that just feels weird in my mouth. Let me look it up. Magnificent. Magnificent? Magnificent. Magnificent. I said it right. Magnificent. Jesus. What was I saying? Well, oh yeah. When you open this door, this mental door in your mind, that you are this magnificent human being, and that you deserve to have all the things that you can imagine, okay? Whatever that is. Whatever you're aiming for, but aim high, okay? Aim big and dream big, child. When you have this realization, this mental realization that you are this amazing human being and that you deserve all the good things in life, that's when you start saying, no, I do not allow anything. I do not allow anything negative in my life. I do not allow this and that, because why would I want to have a life like this? I know that I've seen it. When you get comfortable to a miserable life, because I love using this word, miserable. Let me look it up again. Miserable. No, I said that wrong. Miserable. Miserable life. So that's what you have when you allow the negative things in your life. A miserable life. I know that when you get used to it, it's very hard to get out of it. But I don't know what I want to say anymore. I got distracted with the word miserable, and I don't know what I'm saying anymore. When you realize that you can have so much more, like, you can have anything that you want. You ask the universe, and it will give you. When you realize that you can have so much more, you will thank yourself and say, damn, thank you, I didn't stay there. I didn't stay in that freaking bad relationship. I didn't stay in that job. I didn't stay in that house. I didn't keep that friend. Thank you. Like, there's so much more. Look, we're constantly living. Life doesn't end when you break up with your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Life doesn't end when you leave that job and you're looking for a new one. Life does not end, does not finish when you move to a different city. Life continues. So if life continues, that means you have endless opportunities to keep trying and keep building and keep doing. And you have endless opportunities to bring new things into your life. I think that's where I'm trying to get. That I know it's very easy to fall into this mindset of, but what will come next? Like, what now? Like, he just broke up with me. Maybe I shouldn't have let him go. There's so much more. There's so much more out there, and it will come sooner or later. But it will come. Trust me. And again, the more you start thinking like, yes, I will have this. I'm worthy of having this. It'll easily come into your life. Trust me. But only when you start setting those boundaries and you start saying, no, here's my limit. This is what I allow and this is what I accept. Only when you do that is when you will have this. You will enter this like second phase. Let's say it that way. I'm gonna say, please, do not stay there. Do not stay in that toxic relationship. Doesn't matter what he says he's gonna do. There's ways, okay? There's solutions. You are worth more. You're worth more than that, okay? You can have more, and you deserve more than that guy that is not respecting, more than that guy that put hands on you. I swear down, if someone puts a hand on me, they're gonna get the worst of me, and you don't want to see that. But I do not allow people I don't allow people, and I don't allow myself even to get there. Like that's lowering myself a lot. You know, if at the moment if I start, no. You deserve more than that. There's good guys out there. I truly believe there's good guys. There's still good guys out there that will treat you like a princess, that will treat you like you deserve. Okay? Do not stay in that job. If you hate that job and they treat you like fucking ass, well, leave the fucking job. I know there's more. And if you think there's no more, then create your own. Be self-employed. Find something. There's solutions, okay? There's always a solution. Until you're dead and underground, that's when you can say it, right? There's no more. This is it. But until then, there's ways and there's more. There's solutions, okay? Don't stay in that job. You don't like the career? Change your career. Change. Go for something. Go after something else. You don't like where you live in? Move abroad. Move somewhere else, okay? There's plenty of countries out there that you can move to. They all offer endless things, okay? Beautiful landscapes, the cultures, food. There's so much more out there, okay? Don't accept less, because you're not worth less. You're worth more. Therefore, you're allowed to have more. Simple as that. Do not accept less. Do not settle for less. Just warms me up, but this whole thing just warms me up because I don't think it's fair, you know. I don't think it's fair. It doesn't matter how people treat you. It matters what you do and how you react to those things. And I know that it's not okay if someone disrespects you, but it's on you to say, okay, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Which means everyone makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everyone makes mistakes, okay? We're learning. We're humans and we learn. But you can give someone a second chance. And if they still do the same thing, then that's enough. You can say, there you go. That's it. I don't have to take it again because you had a second chance and you still mess it up. So, I think I'm getting sidetracked, but it just really bothers me, and it really, really does bother me seeing people settling for less and accepting less when there's so much out there, there's so much more you can get from this life. However, there are some people that just like I said, they like to play the victim and they like to, pity pat and live in the pity pat all the time, but we're not messing with them. I'm just saying, if you're a genuine person and you think, I do not deserve this, don't stay there. Please do not stay there. You are the owner of your own life and your reality, okay? So you do rule life the way you want. So set those boundaries. and say no more. No more bad habits. No more toxic relationships. No more of this. I do deserve more. And I will have more because I am this person. Because I am this, I will have more. Okay? That's winning mindset. And you, okay? You're a winner. You're not a loser. You're not a whining little baby. You're a winner. You're a champion. Okay? And you go out there. You go out there to life. Okay? And you go and win. And you go get what you want and what you deserve. That. Okay? I was going to say something in Spanish, but. Okay? I think I'm going to end the podcast in here. The episode in here. Not the podcast. The episode. We're going to close. This is mine for a second. And then we'll go back to it. Probably. That's all I have to say. Set those boundaries. Because I promise you, they will make your life better. But you will only be able to set those boundaries when you know yourself well, and then you allow yourself to set those boundaries because you love yourself that much. See ya.